Hello!
Hello!
We're back. Day 2 of our trip to France. Today, I have a little bit. It's going to be a mixture of us talking and me vlogging. I never fully committed on this trip to vlogging, and I really wish that I would have. But when I got over there was just so much to see and do.
Yeah, so it's going to be a lot of B-roll put into this
Yes.
video today.
So pretty much where we left off yesterday was, it was our end of our first day. We were all very tired. We went back and got some sleep. Well, we woke up the next day on day 2, very rested and ready to go.
Ready to go.
Yes, and this trip had a lot of early mornings for us.
Yeah.
An early morning for us is normally like 9 a.m. Well, here we were getting up at like 6:30, so we could be in so we could be at parks, because in Disneyland their extra magic hours are before the park opens. They don't have any after the park closes. So you have to get up early if you want to get in there and beat the rush. What was the time for?
The parks, both of the parks, all the days we were there opened at 10. So extra magic hours started at 8:30. So they were 8:30 to 9:30, but then there was like this weird 30 minutes where the park was really open, but it really wasn't open. So essentially it was 8:30 to 10, but they started letting guests in at 9:30.
Yeah, so it worked out good for us because we thought we were only getting an hour and we got an hour and 30 minutes. But we took advantage of that. So we did the Walt Disney Studios Park because from everything we had read and looked up the days before, that's where a lot of your really heavy wait time attractions are. We are on day 2 of our Paris adventure. We're gonna go to the Disney Studios this morning, and it is chilly and it is beautiful, and I'm happy to be here. Hello, old friends, Eiffel Tower.
It looks like studios.
So for this park, you literally walk in through a giant studio building. And I can hear Great Movie Ride in the background. It's the music from it. R.I.P. Alright, it's like Hollywood inside of a movie set. Gift shops and Brown Derby's a quick service restaurant here. We got a nice tiki bar over here. Oh.
We didn't have to go there. We can see.
If that's I think it's just seating. I was about to say, you know, if there's a tiki bar, sign us up. Nice gas station here. And you can go off into Hollywood. And then you walk out, and there's the Tower of Terror. But where we're headed first this morning is right over here to Crush's Coaster. And they have this beautiful, there's my wife, they have this beautiful mural here outside of the Innovation Building that's under refurb. Little Pooh staring back at you. All right, going in here to do Crush's Coaster. Okay, so we just got off of Crush's Coaster.
That was a lot. It was so much fun though.
That was awesome. It was like a mixed dark ride and coaster and very unexpected. Definitely check that one out. Put that on your list of things to do if you come to Disney Studios Park. Starting with Crush's Coaster, that might be my favorite ride at Disney Studios.
It was really, really cool.
Basically, if you were to take our Finding Nemo ride here at Epcot and turn it into a coaster that spins, it starts out kind of like ours, where it's kind of the black light glowing, you're going through the sea, and then it just turns into like this dark coaster.
Yeah, so you just go up a hill, then all of a sudden, well, the interesting thing about that one is that you sit like people facing like this way, and then there's people behind you. So like Josh and I there would be other people facing the other direction.
You're sitting in like Crush's shell.
Yeah.
So some people are facing this way, some people are facing that way,
backwards.
and you spin on the ride. Not like teacup spinning, but like the weight of your car is going to spin you around as you're going through this roller coaster.
So the first time that we rode it, I was the one facing backwards. So we were going up a hill and I had no idea there was when the roller coaster would start or anything. So if you do get a chance to ever ride the ride, try to get the one facing towards the back. It's a little bit more thrilling.
I rode them both. I think I enjoyed facing backwards more because you just don't know what's coming. Whenever I first rode, and you see the exact same amount of, like in the beginning, I told you, you kind of go through the sea, and it's kind of like our Nemo ride where you have lots of sights and sounds. Well, no matter whether you're facing backwards or forwards, you see the same amount of
you don't
beaming
miss
on the ride. You don't miss
anything
anything.
if you're facing towards the back.
Yeah, you're not gonna not see nothing. But yeah, I recommend that. If there was one ride you really need to do that I would take advantage of the extra magic hours, that is the one, because the rest of the time that ride was well over probably an hour, hour and a half.
Even up to like 2 hours.
Yeah.
But then we made our way over to the Tower of Terror, and
basically that ride over there focuses on the little girl, and basically she's like a ghost and she's guiding you through the Tower of Terror.
Yeah.
And so definitely if you're over there during Halloween, check that out. She has a few different little overlays and things that she says, so it's always going to be something somewhat different and unique. So definitely check that out. Once we were done with that, that was about the time the park was supposed to open. And so while we were kind of waiting for everything to open up, we went over to go get our fast pass for Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. Now we're walking into the Ratatouille portion of the park. This is what I imagine France would look like when I came. And I will see you soon at Epcot. Which the way they do fast passes over in there still is they still do the paper one. So you take your ticket to the ride, you insert your ticket, it spits you out a fast pass, and it'll tell you a certain time to go. They don't have the Max Pass like Disneyland or the Fast Pass Plus like we have here in Orlando. However, they do have options there similar to like a Six Flags here in the US where you can pay to get unlimited fast passes or one fast pass for almost like the Express at Universal as well, I suppose. But that is an additional charge. We didn't go at a time of year where we felt like it was needed. I personally didn't think, because fast passes were readily available for most rides.
Yeah, maybe in the summer it would be, a good option, but not really in the fall or the winter.
They have one attraction, Lights, Motor, Action, which is a show we used to have here at Disney's Hollywood Studios that they have over there, and it's a car show. Well, on the way over to watch that show, we noticed they had all these booths out, and they have kind of a food and wine-esque type of festival.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what it was called.
It's not. I don't remember either. We'll have to maybe look that up later. But it wasn't to the scale that we have here at Epcot, the Food and Wine Festival. But it was fun. It was interesting. We got something from the Greek booth, and then the next day we got something from like the Italy booth, I think.
Some gazpacho.
And they were both very, very good. They had like this Greek salad that was
pizza
super yummy,
as well,
and pizza. And I really love Greek food.
It's more snack food, just like our Food and Wine. It's nothing you want to make a whole meal out of. But it was some interesting options, especially because there's some, like if you go over towards Remy's and like the Ratatouille section, they have a lot of like French pastries and French dishes and French wines.
A lot of cheese.
We didn't take advantage of that because we ate at Remy's, which we'll talk about in another day. So anyways, then we made our way over to the Lights, Motor, Action to watch a show, and it is the exact same show that it was here in Orlando, give or take a few little things, but it's a great show, I guess.
Yeah.
But I certainly don't miss it here.
Yeah.
It is what it is. If you like cars and explosions, it's cool.
Or if you were just really attached to the one in Hollywood Studios, go give it a...
It is what it is.
Pareil consiste à mettre en place toutes les cascades dont on aura besoin aujourd'hui.
This guy organizes all the stuff I need for today, and that means we're ready.
On est prêt?
Let's do it.
So, once we got out of the Lights, Motor, Action show, most of the rides were down. and they were down in that park, and they were down in Disneyland Park. Apparently that day they had an outage of their compressed air, which I guess most of their rides run off of. So the rides were down for like 4 hours. So we didn't really have to ride anything, and Annie and Betsy were dressed cute because they were planning on taking pictures, but it was incredibly cold that day.
Yes.
So we made our way back over to Disneyland Park so they could take some cute pictures in front of the castle.
In front of Sleeping Beauty Castle.
And we'll insert a few of those now.
Camera noise. Camera noise. Camera noise. Superstar.
All right, so once we got done taking the cute pictures in front of the castle, we made our way back over to the beautiful Disney Sequoia Lodge. They put on some warmer clothes. We kind of freshened up because it was kind of a early morning. I think we all just needed a second just to refresh. And so once we got
up a bit.
Yeah, and so once we got done with that, we made our way back over to the Disney Village for some lunch. And Annie, you really enjoyed the lunch on this day.
Yeah, we ate at King Ludwig's Castle. It was really good. It's your typical German restaurant. You got the pork knuckle. That was really, really good. They also have
Tasted honestly like a pot roast to me. It was good.
It was really good. The mashed potatoes were good. They also have the big beers that you can get at Oktoberfest. They were there. It was, a really good option. There's something different, than what they have and what they serve in the park. So
yeah, so because Disneyland Paris is an American theme park, they have a lot of American food. So if you're an American going over there expecting this culinary experience, you're gonna be disappointed. They do have a lot of great food over there, don't get me wrong, and there are some French options like Remy's, and I had a croissant almost every day. But we'll talk about that in another video when we do our food vlog, because there are definitely some foods you will need to try there. But we'll talk about that in an upcoming vlog.
Yeah.
So continuing with that, after that we went back into Disneyland Park, and at this point the rides are back open, so we rode a few rides. We started out, we rode Space Mountain.
Yes.
And their Space Mountain
incredible.
Awesome.
It was so much fun.
It's a 2-seater Space Mountain. The harness comes down over you, and it's Star Wars Hyperspace Mountain. There, it launches you up, kind of like the Hulk does here in Orlando.
Yeah, so the original theme of the ride is that you were going to be in a cannon and it shoots you up to space. So they kind of kept, obviously it's the same ride, but they just did a Star Wars overlay where you were shooting off into space.
And then once you get inside, it's really dark, but there's all sorts of projections and stuff. It kind of makes it look like you're in a...
And there's Star Wars ships and stuff.
It kind of makes it look like you're in a firefight, some sort of a fight in Star Wars. So it was awesome. We rode that one a couple times. Our friend Betsy, she didn't get sick, but she was like, ooh, I don't know if I can do that more than 2 times. So if you have kind of an easy stomach on this one, I would kind of go easy on that. And then we went over to Adventureland and did their Pirates, because the day before we did Pirates, and we didn't remember it because we were all so tired.
We were just so tired.
But their Pirates there is awesome. It's somewhere, I don't know if it's as good as Disneyland's. It's definitely better than ours at Walt Disney World.
Yeah,
just
it's
because
a lot longer.
Yeah, just because the overall length.
Yeah.
And the story is similar, a little different. So definitely check that one out if you're over there. The queue line is awesome.
Yeah, the queue is awesome. The beginning of the ride is similar to Disneyland's, where you pass, what is it?
So Disneyland is Blue Bayou.
And here
and over there it's like Captain Jack's. They have some name for it, but basically it's Captain Jack's restaurant. And so you pass by through that, and there's a few drops in there. So that's what makes it kind of fun. And someone is tooting their horn.
Someone is
outside.
trying to say hello.
Okay. And so after that, we walked over to do their Phantom Manor in Adventureland. But on the way, they have a bunch of trails, kind of like our Tom Sawyer's Island.
Yeah, but it's in Adventureland, and it's like all in Skull Rock, and it's really, really cool.
Yeah, and so if you're definitely afraid of dark places, maybe this isn't for you. Annie hated it because she felt like something was going to jump out and get her.
And that something would be Josh. I was afraid that he would jump out and scare me. But
she is correct.
Inside of the trails and stuff, like whenever you go downstairs, you hear the music from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
The Dead Man's Chest. Is that the movie?
I don't know.
Anyway, it was really, really cool.
But yeah, so we finally got over to Phantom Manor, which is their version of Haunted Mansion. Basically, I think I read somewhere over there that they don't call it Haunted Mansion in French because it doesn't translate the same.
Yeah, they want it to translate in French and English to be the same exact thing.
Basically, their ride starts out similar to ours, but where it changes is where you would normally go out of the attic into the graveyard. You actually go into like an old western town there, and it's the ghost host is actually the mayor, and we see his face. So it's pretty cool to put a face there. But their western town little area of their Phantom Manor connects to Big Thunder Mountain. So their whole adventure, or their whole Frontierland has a story to it.
Yeah.
So that's what makes this one cool. This one is definitely a lot scarier. I personally like this. This is probably my favorite Haunted Mansion version of them all.
I agree, and it just actually opened not too long ago from a major refurb, so it was the animatronics and like the special effects and stuff inside the ride were incredible. They were so like vivid and real, and it was really, really cool.
Yeah, and so basically after we rode that, we walked over to Main Street because their park does close kind of early there. I want to say it closed at like 8. So by this point in the day, it was time to get our spot for fireworks. And their fireworks, before, they actually sell champagne on Main Street, which is awesome because you can't do that just about anywhere.
Yeah.
And whenever we went up, Andy and I were the first people on one bottle, and they gave us the cork. And it says Disneyland Paris on it. They were like, hey, here's a little takeaway.
And I think they actually, the champagne that they have there is specifically made for Disneyland Paris, which is just another.
Yeah, I think so. It's it's exclusively bottled for.
Yeah, there's a few like wines and champagnes that they make just for Disneyland Paris, which is really cool.
Yeah. And so we got our champagne and we were waiting, and one thing, and this is probably maybe a cultural difference that we noticed, and I'm going to say this the nicest way I know how. There is no personal space whenever you're watching fireworks. If you leave any space in front of you, somebody is going to walk in front of you and stand there.
Yeah, so it was a little bit different
so
for us.
So you are like as
for...
close as can be, and if there is an inch in front of you, somebody is going to walk up there, and then you won't be able to see.
So, and that was our first like big nighttime spectacular that we watched at Disneyland Paris. So it was a little bit of a different culture shock for us, but it was worth it.
No, their fireworks weren't very good.
We're just very spoiled with Happily Ever After.
Yeah, if there's not a lot of people in the park, yeah, watch the fireworks. But otherwise,
it wasn't really.
It's called Illuminations, and they were just.
I think it
they were
translated
awful.
to English.
I mean, some parts were pretty cool, but
yeah.
I could just have a bad taste in my mouth because somebody was standing in front of me, and I was just mad about that. But
the show itself, it wasn't exactly like a Celebrate the Magic type show, but it wasn't exactly a fireworks show. It was somewhere in between. The way Disneyland Castle is set up, there's a fountain right in front of it, so like there was water features and stuff, and then there was fireworks in the back.
It's not very firework heavy. It's more projection heavy.
It's projection and fountain heavy.
So it would be more like Celebrate the Magic, not a Happily Ever After.
Yeah, it leans a little bit more towards Celebrate the Magic, but it had a little bit more special effects to it than Celebrate the Magic.
But I will say, the champagne was a nice touch. Had I known it was going to be that many people crowding around me, I probably would have had about another 2 glasses. And I feel like then it would have been a lot better show.
Yeah.
It really would have raised my expectations because it would have had a little buzz.
So if you're planning a trip to Disneyland Paris, just kind of keep that in your back pocket, just so you're aware it may happen, because we didn't know, and it took us a little bit by shock. So.
Yeah. But leaving the park was a breeze. It's not like, I mean, there was definitely some crowding going out, but it wasn't near as bad as Orlando. And the nice thing about it is because you don't have to take a monorail or a ferry boat, it does clear out pretty fast.
Yes.
So that is one thing nice.
That part was really nice. Also, I'm just going to put in a little side note. If you're planning a trip, bring shoes with good tread, because sometimes it rains not as much here in Florida, but it does rain there quite often.
Yeah.
And everything there is made out of tile. A lot of the flooring is made of tile, so it can be really slippery.
Yeah.
So just bring shoes with good tread. Just
Yep.
that's just a little side note.
Little tidbit for you. And so finally we ended out the night. We stopped by the buffet.
The buffet.
We stopped by the buffet at our hotel at the Sequoia Lodge. It's called Hunter's Grill. And let me tell you, that was probably one of the best buffets we ate the whole trip. We honestly didn't expect to eat there, but nowhere else was really opened or it had a really long wait. This at our hotel, they seated us. There was a bunch of people there. They just had plenty of seating. And the buffet was fantastic. If you want to try French food, this is one of the few places that I feel like had like the authentic French cuisine.
Yeah. And a buffet's
this was a good spot to try a little bit of everything, and I'm glad we did that before we went into like actual France or Remy's because we got to see what we liked. And the best part was the desserts, because obviously it's in France. They make fantastic desserts, and they had a all-you-can-eat crepe bar. And so you walk up, they say, "Hey, you want a crepe?" I said yes, and they gave me a crepe, and I gobbled it up.
And you could put chocolate, caramel, like they had like Oreos and sprinkles and stuff. So I guess our version of an all-you-can-eat ice cream bar is crepes over there. So
it was
really
good.
Cool.
There was a lot of good stuff over there. So if you're staying at the Sequoia Lodge or staying at either of the other hotels around there, definitely check out Hunter's Grill. It was definitely worth it. It was a little pricey, but it was definitely worth the money. So and then
in the fact that you could try all these new things. And
one thing I am going to mention that we'll probably mention again in other vlogs is if you order water over there, they are going to bring you mineral water or sparkling water. At these restaurants, just be firm and say you want tap water. They're going to look at you funny, like, why would you drink that tap water? But I honestly got so sick of mineral water over there. It just had a different texture to me. And I just wanted some good old-fashioned, like, tap water.
This is going to sound a little weird, but mineral water is just a little bit more thick than tap water. And sparkling water is just gross. We don't like it. But if you're into sparkling water,
into that sort of thing,
you're gonna have a great time in France because that's pretty much all that they have.
But tap water is normally free, and you have to pay for the other ones. Not everywhere is gonna give you tap water, but definitely ask for it because.
Yeah, and if you say like,
there's no Dasani over there, like, no Ozarka.
Yeah, and just know that if you say like, I want a glass of water, if I want a glass of water, they're gonna automatically assume you mean sparkling. So you just have to be clear with them on that.
But then after that, with our tummies full and our hearts full from a wonderful day, we walked a few steps back up to the hotel room and we fell asleep. And
our hotel was great. It really was.
I slept great every night we were there. So if you're really looking for a good spot to stay, definitely Disney Sequoia Lodge. It was a great price, great location. I would stay there again. So that is pretty much all we have for day 2. It was a busy day.
It was a fun day though.
Yes.
It was so much fun.
And then in the next vlog, we're going to talk a little bit more on Halloween and some of the decorations because the next day, Halloween officially started at the resort.
It's like overnight.
Yes.
Bam, there's Halloween.
Yes.
Kind of like overnight, it's bam, it's Christmas. Christmas.
Oh yeah, we have our tree up. So don't judge us.
And it's
don't
October
hate us
29th.
because you ate us. Yeah, so if you have any questions or if you have been to Disneyland Paris and went somewhere really good to eat or you think there's something that somebody should do, be sure to leave it down in the comments down below so other people can plan out their trips better. And if you enjoyed this video, please give us a like. Give us a like. You think my wife is smoking hot. And hit that subscribe button. Other than that, we will see you in the next vlog.
See ya.